Hey there, CJ Math students. So tonight I'm going to help you out with homework 2.5, adding rational numbers. So remember, we're always going to label the type and then show our work. So for number one, what type of problem do I have if I have -6 plus -4 plus -1? That's simple. It's SSAK. And since they are all the same signs, I'm going to add them up and keep the signs. So basically, I'm just doing 6 plus 4 plus 1, which is 10, plus 1, which is 11. And I want to keep the sign, which was negative, so -11. Number three. 1 plus -3 plus 2. This is a DSSL because I have different signs. I'm going to remember that I want to subtract when I have different signs. But first, you're actually going to want to use the commutative property of addition to rewrite the problem so that like terms are next to each other. So see how I have the 1 and the 2? Well, let's put those by each other. So I'm going to rewrite it as 1 plus 2 plus -3. That's all the commutative property does. It flips stuff around to make it a little bit easier for you to write everything. So 1 plus 2 is easy, that's just 3, and then I can do 3 plus -3, and this is where the DSSL comes into play, because I have different signs, so I'll subtract, and I'll get 0, C. So 7 plus -4 plus -1, DSSL again. And in this case, I don't need to rewrite, but again, I can basically say, instead of doing 7 plus -4, then plus -1, make it easier on yourself. Do the SSAK part first, right? -4 plus -1 is -5. Now go ahead and say, okay, now I have a DSSL of 7 plus -5. Really, that's saying 7 minus 5. And my answer is going to be 2 because I have more positives than I do negatives. All right, directions here. First, label the type, then line up your decimals. Either add SSAK or subtract DSSL to find the sum. So I have DSSL, so I need to subtract. So let's line up my decimals. I will do 5.66 minus 2.82. Normal subtraction of decimals, right? That's 4. We need to borrow here to make this a 4 and make this 16. That's 8. Put your decimal down. 4 minus 2, 2.84, right? Pretty simple. However, I have more negatives, so therefore my answer is equal to -2.84. A. Number 9. 5 plus -0.6. That is a SSAK, so let's just add that up. I'm going to say 5 plus 0.6. What do? Put plus 0. Add that up. I get 5.6, but remember I need to keep my sign. I had nothing but negatives, so that's why it's -5.6. Backside, number 11. 7.9 plus -6.8. That's DSSL. Different signs subtract larger, so let's put 7.9 minus 6.08. That means I need to fill in a 0 right there. I'm going to borrow from my 9, make that an 8. So I do 10 minus 8 is 2, 8 minus 0 is 8, 7 minus 6 is 1. But go back to the original problem. 7.9 and -6.8. Do you have more positives or more negatives? Well, I have 7 and some change positives. I have 6 and some change negatives. So I have more positives. That's why my answer is positive 1.82. All right, so find each sum. Again, you're going to tell me the type. Find common denominators. Write that down. Find common denominators. And then go ahead and either add or subtract. Sorry about my misspelling there. So 5, 6 plus -10 sevenths. I'm going to multiply this guy by 7 and this guy by 6. So I have 35 over 42 plus -60 over 42. So now tell me your type, it's DSSL, right? So the denominator will stay the same, it will be 42. Now you have to say, okay, I have different signs, so I need to subtract. I need to do 60 minus 35. If I do that off to the side, right, I get 25. So my fraction will be -25 over 42 because I had more negatives and less positives. So B is your answer. Let's do number 15. Let's multiply this guy by 2, this guy by 2. So I have -5, 6 plus -4, 6. Notice I have 2 negatives, so that's SSAK. So let's just add them up and keep the sign. So -5 plus -4 is -9, 6. Right? Notice how you just keep the denominator. Remember your fraction rules. You should have your reference sheet right out next to you if you forget them. -9, 6, that's an improper fraction. So how many times does 6 go into 9? It goes in there 1 time. Oh, I'm sorry, they're not making you write down them as mixed numbers. They're just saying reduce this. So let's reduce this. Divide by 3. I get negative 3 over 2. So B. Very important to remember your negative signs. You keep your negative sign here because you had nothing but same signs. And number 17. 7 6 plus negative 5/3. So let's multiply this guy by 2. So we have 7 6 plus negative, right? Don't change the problem. Negative 10 6. Now I can see, oh, I have a positive, I have a negative. It's DSSL. So I'm going to have to subtract 10 minus 7, really. Right? So I do 10 minus 7 off to the side. That gives me 3. But it doesn't give me positive 3. I have more negatives. So it's negative 3 over 6. I need to simplify this. Divide by 3, divide by 3. Get my answer of negative 1/2. D. Okay? Very important that you remember your negatives. So please write that down. Remember your negatives. Please make sure you show all work on tonight's homework. Call me if you have questions.